Someone will tell you, pray and endure. Others will say, that's your cross to bear. This is how we've come to leave the abuser free and condemn the victim to a life of holy terror. Hello Uplifers, I'm so glad that we meet again. Today we have another question. It's an emotional question and it's about life. Someone wrote to me and put these two questions. Where is God when my partner abuses me? And why doesn't he intervene? Where is God when the one you've bound life to slowly kills your soul? When instead of love you receive indifference, instead of protection fear, and instead of partner a master? Someone will tell you, pray and endure. Others will say, that's your cross to bear. And some, the most heartless, will tell you that you are not allowed to leave because the Bible only permits divorce in the case of adultery. This is how we've come to leave the abuser free and condemn the victim to a life of holy terror. But the question remains, where is God when you suffer? And why doesn't he intervene? First of all, God is never complicit with abuse. God did not create marriage as a cage, but a place of safety, comfort, and mutual growth. He never said marriage is for the happiness of the one and the suffering of the other. He said instead, love one another as I have loved you. In the Old Testament, God speaks clearly and firmly against oppression, injustice, and violence. Let's hear a text. Defend the cause of the weak and fatherless. Maintain the rights of the poor and oppressed. Rescue the weak and needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. And this text applies also in the context of family, where there is abuse. God always stands with the oppressed, not with those who oppress them. Second, God is not absent. He is in your tears, not in the abuser's shout. His lack of supernatural intervention does not mean he approves the behavior. God respects free will, but he does not validate evil. Just as he didn't stop Cain from killing Abel, yet heard Abel's blood crying out from the ground, he still hears today the unseen tears and crying of the abused. God has not abandoned you in suffering. He weeps with you, and yet he has placed within you a conscience, wisdom, discernment, and the freedom to walk away from the abuse. He won't force you to leave, but he will never ask you to stay. Third, the Bible is not a prism for victims. The often quoted verse is from Matthew 19:9. Anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another woman commits adultery. Yes, it's true, but this verse is not a universal command for silence and blind submission. It's a framework for protecting marital fidelity, not an excuse to ignore abuse. What does sexual immorality mean in the biblical context? It refers not only to the physical adultery, but to any form of sexual and moral betrayal. The Greek word porneia is the root for pornography, and it includes chronic pornography use, emotional infidelity, verbal, emotional, or physical abuse that destroys the covenant. When someone consistently disrespects the marriage covenant through the lack of love, control, humiliation, emotional terror, or emotional neglect, that's a form of covenant breaking before God. Fourth, abuse is not your cross to bear. Christ does not call you to destructive suffering. He calls you to a life of peace, truth, and dignity in Him. Listen what He says. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Abundant life does not mean a life of terror. The cross Christ calls us to bear is the cross of dying to selfishness, not to dignity. It is not the cross of silence in the face of evil, but the cross of staying true to love, truth, and courage. Fifth, God does not want you to lose yourself for the sake of appearances. Staying in a toxic relationship to avoid losing heaven is not holiness, it's a spiritual misinformation. God is not a cold judge who expels you for saving yourself from abuse. He's a father who weeps over your suffering and calls you to live again, calls you to choose life, freedom, healing, and that is not a sin. It is an act of faith in the God who sets captive free, not one who locks them in. Seek ye for the first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, Jesus said. And of course, you are not living in God's kingdom if you are trapped in fear, terror, manipulation, and humiliation. You live in the kingdom of God when you walk in truth and love, even if that means walking away from the person that abuses you. Sixth, the church must protect victims, not abusers. If a church turns a blind eye to abuse or punishes the one who escapes a marital nightmare, then the church has strayed from the Spirit of Christ. Christ protected the woman caught in adultery. He didn't throw the stone as the church wanted to do. He spoke with the Samaritan woman. He didn't chase her out. Jesus consistently stood with those rejected by the religious system of the day. A church that commands a victim to stay in abuse with no discernment or no compassion becomes complicit with the darkness. God is not present in blind rigidity, but in mercy that lifts up and truth that sets free. In conclusion, God intervenes through you too. You wonder where God is. Well, He is in the voice inside you that whispers, "That's enough." He is in the friend who believes you. He is in the therapist who listens to you. He is in the thought that wakes you at night and says, "Your life is precious. Your life matters." He is present in the resolution slowly growing roots in your soul. It is not your silence that is holy, but your truth. God doesn't force you to live an abusive relationship, but He will give you discernment, strength, people, and courage. He wants your freedom more than He wants religious approval. Yes, God hates divorce within marriage, but He also hates violence, injustice, and cruelty. And most of all, He hates when His name is used to justify someone's destruction. God is not passive. He suffers with you, but He also calls you to choose life. Thank you for watching. I hope this was very helpful for you. If it did help you, please subscribe, like, and share. Bye!